Welcome everyone to another episode of PG Gaming. I'm on Bridge, and here I'm going to talk about the bomb that was dropped yesterday as of this recording, the Cyberpunk 48-minute game trailer. Now, Project CD Red, they basically did something crazy where they had a Twitch stream going on with the cryptic things going on, and people were wondering what it is, what are they going to show. Maybe they have to read through the cryptic thing to basically get like a picture file or instructions to do this and do that and do that. And lo and behold, nope, they were dropping that that demo. I think it's the same demo that they showed at E3, just more polished and has like a narrator. And boy, that demo blew me away. Like, I was already excited for the game already because I love the Witcher games that these guys put out. Like, to me, they are one of the most solid publishers out there, game developers out there. Like, they really care about their fans in terms of like putting out quality content that's worth your money. So the first time I saw that teaser trailer for Cyberpunk, I was already sold. I wasn't familiar with the paper and pen game at the time until that trailer dropped. I still haven't played it, but you know, it got me curious. One day I'll pick it up. And then of course they dropped the trailer at E3 that a lot of people were surprised by, that it was really showing daylight stuff, and they explained that the thing is already gonna look good at night, but what they wanted to showcase was that because the game has a day and night cycle, that the game has to look just as good in the daytime as it does at night. Like at night, you'll get the whole Blade Runner-esque feel and that futuristic cyberpunk feel to it. So they're not worried about that. They just wanted to showcase what the game would look like during the day. And then a lucky set of press people got to see the demo behind closed doors, and of course they even sold the hype, because like they're like, oh, this game is amazing, you should have seen it, you know. And everybody was wondering why wouldn't they. I'm still wondering too myself, like, why couldn't they have just released the demo or show the demo live? Because I'm not sure if what they showed yesterday was any different in terms of quality than what they showed at E3. So I don't know the thinking behind that. Maybe they just wanted the hype to build, which it is working. I gotta admit, it is working. Have people sell the hype before you see it, and then when you see it, you kind of believe the hype. It could have backfired. It could have been like, oh man, this is not as good looking as these guys said it was. Like, this is bullshit. But so far I haven't seen anybody said that it didn't live up to their hype. So what am I gonna talk about? I wrote down a few notes while I was watching it. You know, obviously I'm not gonna tell you about everything, because you can watch it for yourself. But there's just things that I really gravitated towards seeing, and I'm really excited to sort of delve into that aspect of the game. First being is the fact that you can customize your character. You can choose between a male and a female. They already said that, but to actually see it on screen and how it looks and how the interface looks. And it's funny, they on the screen they had like the blurred, blurred for the guy. His whole groin area was blurred out, and so was the female, and of course her top was blurred out. But I was hearing through, I think the developer said that you won't see that blurred when the game actually comes out. You'll be able to see them in all their nude glory, which is also another aspect of this game. This game is mature, right? It's gonna have sex, it's gonna have nudity, and it won't be, at least according to what they're saying, it won't be gratuitous nudity, it won't be gratuitous violence. It'll be based on how this world is. This world is so like dumbed down in terms of like everybody's like a product now. So it's like emotions are sort of going downhill, and everything is all about augmentation and all about corruption and violence and all this things. It's the way of this world. It's basically Game of Thrones, but in a futuristic setting. So another thing that The demo did show you, demo showed you your main character, which again could be a male or female character. V. They chose a female character, and I think they used the default skin. I'm not sure if that's the default skin that they're using. Like when you get the game, that's how the default would look. Like I usually try not to customize my character so much when there's a personality behind it. Like for instance, when I played Mass Effect, I always use default Shepard, because every other Shepard, unless it's the female Shepard, default female Shepard didn't look as good as how you can make your female Shepard look. But the guy was like, can't get any better looking than that. And then if I make a black Shepard, still has a white voice, and it's like, yeah, I'll stick with default Shepard, male Shepard. But as far as sort of like any other, I think the only game I really changed up the look was Dragon Age Inquisition. Anytime I got the character, because it's like it was just a blanket, it was straight up blanket, you know what I mean? So I was able to change that. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to going to customize my character when this game comes out, or I'm just going to leave it at default, but time will tell. So you're on your first mission. V and is accompanied by a guy called Jackie, and you go on this mission to, I guess, rescue a lady who's being harvested for parts and stuff like that. And the gameplay already, it's already in first person. Of course, there was a big hoopla about it being in first person. They wanted it to be in third person, especially coming off of Witcher, how gorgeous that game looks. Now you're gonna have that. We were looking forward to that element of what we saw in The Witcher in a more futuristic setting, but the whole aesthetic of the game has changed. It being first person, everybody was disappointed. I kind of was disappointed too. I was like, oh, really? Like, thinking of it being a first-person game set in the future, it just gave me Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and what's the other one? The sequel, basically. That vibe, Deus Ex vibe, and it was like, do you want to emulate that game? Like, it's the same kind of concept. It has RPG elements in it, along with shooters, and it's in the future, blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, but we already seen that with Deus Ex. Why would you do that again? But seeing the game actually played in live, even though it does share elements of Deus Ex, I think it moves a little bit faster. It moves a little bit faster, and I think the world's bigger and more dynamic, from what I've seen anyway. I played the game before. I played Deus Ex before, and I experienced enough of it to kind of gauge what could be different about this world. So I give the plus for now, for what I've seen, to Cyberpunk in terms of just how the environment looked, especially when you go out in the street. It's basically meant to be like a seamless, no loading transition between like when there's a cutscene to when you go into gameplay to when you go to another location. Whether you're going into a different building, going into your car, basically it's just seamless. It won't be any cuts. That's the kind of immersion these guys want you to feel while playing this game, and I can tell from this demo. And so they're on this mission, and you see a couple of moves that they can do. Of course, it has a traditional shooter moves, just like Call of Duty, in terms of like how you shooting, the shooting mechanic works. And then of course you have the one special move that I did get to see early on, where you have a booster for a Kolesnikov ability. Basically, it slows down time, and you're able to do like that whole bullet time effect. And then I mentioned nudity, so I'm looking through my notes here. I mentioned nudity. Amazing textures. Holy shit! Like when she picked up the body of the girl that they were trying to rescue, and to see like the wetness dripping off, like the little details, is like holy shit. And then when they went outside and the cops dropped in, and I don't know if they were cops or whatever, but they dropped in and basically took her and everything. It's just like the immersion, the texture quality, and everything just really sold me. And of course, it has a lot. It's an RPG. It's a first-person RPG. So there's a lot of RPG stuff going on in it. Like for instance, when you're seeing the hit points when you're shooting the characters, as well as you're able to sort of get different clothing that has stats built on them, like street cred, which is basically how you level up in the game. Like the higher street cred you get, the more access you have to certain areas, to certain weapons, to certain missions. So yeah, basically you have that stats built in, as well as, like, you know, defensive stats and stuff like that, in your jacket, in your pants, and in whatever. Of course your weapons have different loadouts, different stats as well, placed on those. What else? I did mention seamless open world, and I mentioned, so basically you see it opens with one mission, and then you get like the basically open cutscene, and after the open cutscene you go into another mission, and you get a mission from this guy, Rick Ross looking guy, that's what I call him. Wasn't too sure, like I was really enamored with the graphics and the gameplay, that I wasn't too following the story. I'll leave that when I actually play the game to really follow the story. So, but basically you're getting a mission to go to these guys, and apparently you can go through the missions in different ways. You don't have to go running and gunning. You don't have to. Basically, you can accomplish the mission bloodlessly. Other thing to note that they didn't mention in the demo is that basically the dialogue is gameplay driven, which is pretty cool, because basically what happens is you can look at different characters in the scene, and a different set of dialogue tree would show up for each character. You can even look at objects, and different dialogue tree shows up. So it's a pretty cool concept that I don't remember ever seeing in any other game. So that gives you a different variety of ways to play the game, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. So yeah, and then I could like, this game is just gorgeous, like what I'm looking at. When you're driving too, when you're able to drive, I'm sure you're able to take different cars, not just the car that was in the game. I wonder if it's gonna be like GTA style, where you can steal other people's cars. You can drive it in first person, and you can drive it in third person. The only other time you'll be able to do a third person perspective is when you're driving, which I think is the best way to drive when you're dealing with a game that has a driving element to it. Because every time you're driving in first person, you can't, it's like you feel like you're not seeing the whole view, even though technically when we're driving in real life, you're driving in first person. But we just have more of a peripheral vision that the game can afford you, so you're able to sort of confidently make more choices on the road than you do in a video game. So I think it's best to drive in the third person perspective in a video game. Another thing I mentioned was Mantis Blades, because there was a scene where you saw the Mantis Blade comes out of V, which you saw in the very first teaser trailer, and it's great that they incorporated that somehow in the game, considering how long ago that teaser trailer was. And that teaser trailer featured the character that may have been V, we're not sure. At least I'm not sure. Maybe it was revealed that that character is V, or that character is someone else. But that could have been just like a throwaway cinematic to show you what the world is like, and really has nothing to do with the game in general. But I'm glad that it came back in some fashion in the video game with the Mantis Blades. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so wrapping it all up, like this game is looking phenomenal so far. I am crossing my fingers that we're gonna get a release date soon, and crossing him even tighter that it will be between Q2 and Q4 of 2019, because I don't want to have to wait 2 to 3 years for this game, especially that now that they're releasing sort of this footage and making this big push towards showing people this game, that it means that this game is closer than ever. And they did mention that the game is playable from start to finish. The only thing that that's left to do is sort of like bug testing and any other balancing that needs to take place, that they can work on that. So I'm hoping that means that this game is closer to release, and we'll be getting some information on that soon. PSX is coming up in a few months, so that could be a perfect time to release a new trailer and a release date. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait. I don't want to have to wait until next E3, which is in June, for more information on this game and a possible release date. Because if we gotta wait until June, that means we'll probably won't get this game until like beginning of 2020. But yeah, that's my take on Cyberpunk 2077. It was a great surprise yesterday, and I'm looking forward to this game. So let me know what you guys think about this game down below. Let me know what you think about this channel. I want you to subscribe, share, like, hit that notification bell so you can know when I'm dropping new videos, and all around enjoy my content. Hopefully you do. So until next time, folks, peace.